girl, my chosen one. Through you, the impossible is done.
So he says that they're a praying party and they believe in the Lord Jesus Christ, and you know they're not into Obi and all of those different things like the current government, right? So that would indicate, not just because of what they've said, but because of what they're doing, that they really are hammering home on this lack of integrity, the corruption, how the wastage of money could go to the things like the hospital or healthcare system is in shambles. The education system is in shambles. Everything is in shambles. Let me tell you something. If you want to gauge how your country is growing or thriving, you have to look at the pillars of a society. One of the two main pillars of a society is health and education. You don't even need to look at anything else yet. Health and education. I mentioned this in my video last week. My grandmother had multiple strokes. She had pneumonia and she was dehydrated. We went to a private hospital, not a public hospital, a private hospital where you pay your money. And to say the service was deplorable is the least. You had one porter, the one who will push you around in the wheelchair, the one who have to take your results to the lab and all of these things. There was only one who was working at the time and two nurses. You hear me tell you? In a private hospital that has a whole lot of people going into that hospital because it's well known. I will not call the name because that is not even relevant right now, because this is a problem that's being faced in the health sector all across the island. God forbid you should get sick. God forbid you should go in and have a baby, with the mortality rate of our babies and their death going sky high, and the mortality rate of our women who are going in to have children. But you're boasting in cutting ribbon, optics. You're very good at optics, very good at marketing, but the lived reality of the Jamaican does not reflect what you're putting in the media. It's the same thing with education. I cannot believe how the education sector, you have these children who have left primary school and they're in high school and they cannot read and write. My grandparents are stalwarts in the education system. My same grandma who I said had a stroke, she's dedicated her life to this country as a teacher. And my grandfather, they're stalwarts in the education system. Started schools. So many of even the persons who are highly educated now, they're either here in Jamaica or they've gone off somewhere, and I'm not going to name names, have passed through the hands of my grandparents. And when we look at the education system now, but you see, that's another thing that I've realized, just using my spiritual senses and looking at this government, they want to keep the Jamaican people dumb and stupid and foolish. You know why? Because then they can control you. So you have an issue with Mark Golding's skin color, but the Bakra master, the plantation master, the pharaoh is already governing you right now. But you don't see that because him can give you a rum and give you a boom and give you some food and you're okay with that. But what happens during that 5 years? What is the legacy for your children? How do they go to school? How do you get by? How do you take care of your family? How do you take care of yourself? Where's the infrastructure for the people of Jamaica, the regular people? I'm not talking about the elite, the 1% or the 7% elite of this country who want to keep the money to themselves, and it's not for the rest of the Jamaican people. The business people, the entrepreneurs, the young people, the creatives, like my son, who is a creative, who wants to build a business. Myself, I'm an entrepreneur that loves to build business, but it's so much bureaucratic red tape. It's so difficult to do business in this country. But you've done so much for the country. We're doing so well. But I'm only talking about two pillars of the nation, and they're in complete shambles. It is time that we stop this foolishness as Jamaican people. It's time that we wake up and we demand from our leaders that they do the job that they're put in office for, because they work for us. They work for us. So when they come to give you money to buy off your vote, they're giving you your money, because it's taxpayers' money them giving you. So on that note, I now want to go to the next clip where Marlene Malahoo, I believe is her name, Malahoo, wanted to address Mark Golding about Andrew Holness. Take a listen to what she had to say.
That at no time can he stand in the shoes of Andrew Holness. No time.
Let's go again.
At no time can he stand in the shoes of Andrew Holness. No time. Nor can his team match our team. So let me tell you something. I want Mark Golding, since he has made integrity an issue of this campaign, tell the people of Jamaica how you came to succeed in the seat that you are. What price did you pay? And what did you gain? I think it's only fair that you tell the people of Jamaica. We don't want to speculate. Tell us your role with FinSA. Tell us your relationship with the former Minister of Finance. Tell us how your companies earn the profits of the backs of Jamaican. Come clean and tell us, because at no time can you stand in the shoes of our leader, Andrew Holness. Who are the big man? Andrew, who run the island, Andrew and his team. And we say, to God be the glory. Forward ever, backward never. Put your ex beside the bell. Choose the Jamaica Labour Party. Choose a better future for you.
What can go so?
You know, another thing I've noticed too, now that I've started to pay attention, because the Lord has said pay attention. Because like I said, I've never voted my whole life. I was not interested, because I thought they were all the same. And so I was just like, why should I cast my vote? Because it don't make a difference, because the both of them are the same. But you see, that's a lazy mentality, and that's a lazy mindset, because the government works for us. And if we don't engage and demand that they do what they're supposed to do, that's why they can run amok, right? And so when I'm paying attention, one of the things I've realized, and I'm really not trying to be disrespectful, but is some dunce people in the JLP party. Them dunce. I could not in my life believe when I listen to these people speak. I'm like, these are the people that run in the country? No wonder we're in the problem that we're in. Because what kind of argument is she bringing? What kind of argument is she bringing? First of all, thank God Mark Golding does not walk in Andrew Holness's shoes, because we don't need another thief to be the prime minister of the country. That's number one. And I said it. Because the evidence is there. Okay? If you don't want to accept it, then that's on you. But I don't have any wool over my eyes. Like I said, I have no skin in the game. I look at the facts, right? So thank God he does not walk in his shoes, because we don't need anybody taking any more money from the Jamaican people. That's number one. Number two, ma'am, Mark Golding is fully certified. Certification is there for public service workers. Lawyers have to be certified. Doctors have to be certified. There are different, if you're working in the bank, there are different occupations where you have to be certified. You know why you have to be certified? It's for situations like this, corruption. You must be able to declare where your source of income is coming from, so that it protects you as a public servant. It's not just for the Jamaican people, it's to protect you as well. It's protection for you. You being able to show people, okay, This is where all my income comes from. You can show them that it's legal and it's above board, so it keeps you out of trouble. That's what certification is for. Mark Golding is fully certified, ma'am. However, Andrew Holness is not. That's a source of contention right now because he has income, undisclosed income. When will we get that through our thick skulls? There is undisclosed sources of income. He is not certified. There is nowhere in the world where he could be on a ballot. There's nowhere. Fact check it. You would have to step down until the investigation is completed. And then when it's completed and you're cleared, then you could possibly come back. There's nowhere in a decent democracy or a decent society where that could happen. It couldn't. And it doesn't mean that you're guilty, but it means that to just keep everything above reproach, to make sure that there's a sense of propriety, then you would step aside and allow the investigation to run its course, and then you could come back. So why you are different? You're the first prime minister to take our integrity commission to court. You chose the people, sir. So they're in no way, shape, or form similar. Peter Bunting clearly spoke in the debate and said that they had a publicly listed company, publicly listed, certified. You could see where the income was coming from. You saw how they made their money. So what is she talking about? Come with an intelligent argument, please, without the hype. Come with an intelligent argument, right? You want to talk about FinSac? Then release the report so we can see then, madam, so that we can make an informed decision, ma'am. But the report is not released, so how can we make an informed decision? In the same way, you have the Kroll report, spend 1.2 million US dollars, and you don't want to release that either. But you dare have the gall and the audacity to speak about integrity. You think we're fools. They think we're fools. This government thinks that the Jamaican people are stupid. That's what they think. And then to add insult to injury, you're going to finish now about to God be the glory. That's why I'm telling you, people can talk about God all they like. Who is your God? Because it's not Yahweh. It's not Yahweh because you don't follow the teachings of God. Dunamis, power, miracles. When you study that word, it comes from the root word dunamis, which speaks to, one of the many things it speaks to is moral power and excellence of soul. That's what Yeshua had. Him not into no hanky-panky and no, stealing here and nobody will know there and all of that. The Lord is not into that. And he's not condoning that in any leader, madam. So I think you need to wheel and come again and think before you speak. And here is Julian Robinson with a beautiful combat he was just on fire in the debate. He blew me away. Talk about bright. Talk about intelligent. And it's funny because I never used to pay attention to politics, but I remember when they'd have some of the debates and I'd hear him speaking and I'd say to my dad, because my dad and my mom follow politics a lot, and I'm like, who is that? And they're like, Julian Robinson. And I was like, that man, he's bright, he's intelligent. And look at where he is today. But listen to what he had to say.
You have 45 seconds.
What they haven't spoken about is how corruption has impacted that growth. How our foreign direct investment has moved from 900 million in 2015 to 300 million today. That 11 of them are under investigation for illicit enrichment. I, Julian J. Robinson, can categorically state, I am not under investigation. Can the three of you say that? We need growth. We understand the assignment now. We have consolidated our economy. We have to improve the outcomes in education, which have been poor. You talk about energy. It took you 8 years to put out a request for proposal for renewables. Why? Because of the corruption at the Ministry of Education, where you see 4 ministers over 8 years.
Time.
You heard that? I, Julian Robinson, can't remember what he said his middle name is, can categorically state that I am not under investigation. Can you? None of them responded to that. I noticed that. Did you notice that? that none of them responded to that. But you have Marlene Malahoo or Malahoo coming to talk about integrity, and we're bringing up integrity. Your prime minister is under investigation and is not certified. That's a fact. That's not propaganda. It's a fact. And no amount of optics and marketing can change what is being exposed by Almighty God. Because everything that's taking place, it's God who is doing it. He's exposing. He's bringing things to light. But it's very important, people of Jamaica, that you understand the reason why he's doing it, so that you can make a choice, because it's in our hands. Again, I make an appeal to the undecided voter. If you are on the voters list, you need to engage. Don't sit down and say, oh, well, you know, we just go on with it then. I'm telling you, you cannot afford another 5 years under this government. You cannot afford it. We cannot afford it.
You're my Jesus girl, my chosen one. Through you, the impossible is done.